What do you hope yours will be? Emma asked as we crouched together on the grassy hill, plucking the last of the season's dandelions. I don't know. Something easy, I guess, I replied. As long as I get to live for a while, I'd be okay even if it's an accident. I gathered a handful of dandelions and tucked them into the front pocket of my dress, holding it close to my stomach. I hadn't given much thought to how I wanted to die, even though tomorrow, my 13th birthday, I'd finally find out. Felt like some kind of milestone, like getting your first period. It was thrilling but terrifying. I envied everyone who already knew, like my sister, Madison, who had gotten her answer 2 years ago and now wore the little black charm bag around her neck. She'd never told me what hers said, and neither had anyone else in the family. Still, there had to be something powerful about knowing. Ever since that day, she had carried herself differently, like a grown woman. Emma's birthday wasn't for another 6 months, so I knew she'd be coming to me for answers after mine. I heard this generation's quota for accidents still isn't filled, she said. Same for the rare cancers and heart disease. I'd take a heart attack, I told her, as long as I'm old when it happens. Do you know who's on your council yet? She asked. No one knows that until the day, I said. It'll be some elders plus 3 folks from town. They decide together. What if it's someone you recognize? She asked. That'd be great, I said, yanking up another dandelion. If they like me, maybe they'd go easy on me. Unless they don't like me, of course. If I were on your council, I'd just do the job myself, she joked. I shot up and gave her a playful shove. She dropped the edge of her dress and the dandelions spilled to the ground. Taylor, she shouted, laughing as she bent down to collect what she could. She picked one up, its fluffy white seeds still intact, and handed it to me. Make a wish. I drew a big breath and blew, watching the seeds float up into the sky. I hope it's something gentle, I whispered. I raced back to the house barefoot, my feet muddy, trailing dandelion petals the whole way. My mom caught me just before I could step inside. She glanced at my filthy feet but said nothing. She hadn't been scolding me much with my birthday so close. Pick out the leaves you brought and toss them to the chickens, she told me, and clean your feet before coming in. I sat in the dirt, plucking the leaves from the dandelion's long roots. My thoughts spun. Emma had brought up questions I hadn't considered. How did they decide what fate to give me? Was an accident really what I wanted? What if someone on the council hated me? That night I couldn't sleep. My parents let me stay in their room. I sat next to Mom on the bed, watching the firelight glint off the black charm bag around her neck. You never told me your fate, I said softly. It's not something a mother should share, she said. It's better not to know. My dad was in the corner, stirring the fire with a poker. You didn't tell me yours either, I said more boldly. It doesn't matter, he said, not turning to look at me. The fire lit up the lines on his tired face. What matters is it's not anytime soon. I'll be here for you. Unsatisfied, I pulled the blanket tighter and asked, how do they decide? They try to be fair, Mom said. They check what each generation needs to balance everything. Numbers, lifespans, that sort of thing. I hope I never have to be on someone's council, I mumbled. You likely will be someday, Dad said from across the room. Eventually, I drifted off, but my sleep was restless. I kept waking up, nerves twisting in my stomach like fireflies buzzing under my skin. When dawn came, I was already wide awake. This is a good thing, Mom said, brushing and braiding my hair. You're becoming a young lady. Dad walked into the kitchen, jacket and hat in hand. You're leaving? I asked. Aren't you going to be there? Hush, he said gently. I'll see you when you're done. We're not allowed inside anyway. Mom helped me into a long red dress and walked me toward the barn on the edge of town where it would all happen. She stayed silent the entire walk. "Please come with me," I begged as we reached the doors. "It'll go badly if you don't come with me." "Taylor, you know I can't," she said. "You're grown now. This is yours to face." She placed her hands on my shoulders to steady me, and I turned toward the barn. I opened the door, and morning light spilled onto the elders sitting in a circle on hay bales. Most had long gray braids and gave me soft, serious looks. In front of them sat the three-person council. I didn't recognize the two men on either side, but in the center was my dad. "Dad," I murmured, confused. Was he on the council? "Taylor Green," one of the elders said. "A council has gathered to decide the time and cause of your death, in accordance with the balance of our community. Will the foreman step forward?" My father rose and walked toward me. Shadows flickered across his long, pale face. He knelt and held out a black charm bag and a small folded piece of paper. "I'm sorry, Taylor," he said quietly. "You may read it aloud," one of the elders said. Hands trembling, I opened the paper and read the inked words. "Cause breast cancer. Aged 19. I bit back my tears, tiny sobs rising in my throat. "Does that mean I won't get to have a family?" I asked the elders, my voice barely audible. "That's not our place to say, sweetheart." One of them replied gently, "We only decide the end." I gave a small nod, rolled up the paper, and slipped it into the charm bag. Then I tied it around my neck.